Evening Steve, evening Paul, and seems to be somebody else, so good evening, whoever that is. How are we doing? So we are back from Telford. What can I say? Well, to start with, just before Telford, that happened. Know what that's all about, huh? So, these big bad boys here. Apparently he was helping the train move forward on the railgun. Two of big old boxes. Monster boxes. Oh, I mean, look at that. So this is the bizarreness that we have now progressed to with this craziness. Times two, of course. And then I was informed that they had 4 to push it. So what we're going to do about that, I don't know. It's kind of I dug a hole and I'm now getting it in even deeper. Yes, mate, it was awesome. Great weekend. Really good fun, do you know what I mean? Fun whiskey night. Hiya, how you doing? Alright, Steve. Hi, Amanda. It will take you 6 years to finish the kit now. Yes, probably will, Paul, to be fair with you. Afraid you're going to need a bigger room. I'm going to need a bigger summer. I have no idea where I'm going to put the things. No idea where I'm going to put the whole thing when it's built. I've got no idea about anything really, to be fair. Just keep going now. I spent way too much. Yes, yeah, we had some fun. It was a great weekend for sure. It was great to catch up with the manufacturers too, and all that kind of stuff. It was great that the varnish was getting dished out basically and sold and everything else at the trade stands and prom and all that carry on. So yeah, really positive on the varnish side. Apparently Tamiya magazine wants to do a little feature at some point with our varnish as well as Airfix and everyone else. So awesome, all good fun. Still can't believe how big that kit's gonna be. Yeah, Graham, I know. Evening, Joe. How you doing? Yes, it's got to go in the shop, but just where, innit? That's the whole question. So, Airfix, 109. Yeah, it's a good kit. Looks lovely on the stand. I'm kind of a little bit disappointed. The original kit, the old vintage classic one, is actually not a bad kit to put together as a whole. Obviously not as detailed as the new kit, but it's not a bad kit. So did they miss out on something there a little bit? Yeah, probably. I would say so. Corsair would have been much nicer to go with a Hellcat, and I did tell them that. You know, at the end of the day, that's what I would like to have seen, but I'm just putting together some wooden storage. Cool. So I've got some friends down in Ipswich that doing the East Anglia Model Show on the 21st of February 2026, and it looks like it's going to be an awesome show. I won't be there, unfortunately, but I did say that I would show the poster. I have got it on my Facebook as well. If you're down that way, 21st of February, give them a shout, give them a look, because they're great guys. I see them every year at Telford, and it's always good to have another show going. So if you're around, go for it. There is one copy of the leaflet around. Facebook, I think I put it on. I wanted a Corsair kit, but it would take... Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I'm not going to say no to a 109, but in reality, there is a lot of 109s already out there, trumpeter, etc. So, you know, a Corsair would have been much nicer, but it is what it is. Right, back to this shenanigans here. So, I was looking at this here, what we did last time I was live, all this. And then I looked at this next page. Now this is where it gets a pain again. Because the next page is this. However, it's on the opposite side. So in that aspect, I believe that they've just done a mirror image for that, and that's it. And they haven't actually told me where it goes on this one, which is real helpful, real clever. But we are starting to get to a bit of a big crazy bit, because then we start going into that. So anyway, on this aspect, it looks like I've got to make the other one exactly the same as what I've done there, which is kind of annoying. And there's some bridges and stuff that I've got to go on here. So I need Q4 and Q6. What they've done, it's quite bizarre the way they've done it. They've put two numbers. So I'm presuming the first one goes on to the mirror image of this one, what I've done, I've not done. Sorry, and the second one will be the number that I need for this one, I'm guessing, but we shall find out in a moment. If it had been an F35, you'd have been all over it. You know that trumpeter do a 1/32 F35, because I have one in stock, and it'll be big. It's in stock in the shop, not on the shelves here. No, I've not got one here. In my stash, I've got the hobby Kitty Hawk 148 F35. Yes, I have the trumpeter one, which is a huge box, absolutely monster of a box. I can show you it. Right here. That's the trumpeter one. And it's the B as well. Big old box. So yes, very big kit. Very big kit. Right, we need to look at these parts. So it's either Q5 or Q6, but I don't know which. I'm guessing one will fit and one won't, so I would stick with cars as well, Paul, yeah. Yeah, the 1/32 is massive. That'll be really big. I think that's the biggest you can get at the moment. Right. Q5 and Q6. Yeah, I'm wanting really Q6, I think. Yeah. Done all that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Am I doing that? Right. Yes. Yeah, I bet I've not seen it built, but I would imagine it's rather big as well. But I am looking for the like walkway bits. That's what I'm looking for, some walkway bits. Oh, that looks like it. That looks a lot like it. But it's not, because that's an N. and I need a Q. It's not that bit. I thought I was on it there. I thought I was on the ball. Right, so it must be over here somewhere. Screws that. R. Not that. Not any of them. Not that. Can't be that. I'm sure it's side of that. R. No. Oh dear. Big for all these big parts here. Bizarre this, by the way. Here side of all this. Right. None of that. None of that. Not that. Not that. And it's this. And got a Q. U. That must be a U as well. No, it could be a Q, that one. I haven't got my magnifying glass, that's the trouble. Oh, where is it? Yeah. See if I can make that out before I open the bag. Q. There you go. Happy days indeed. Multi-talented. Something like that, Joe. Something like that, buddy. Right. So, according to this, you have a bigger one and a smaller one. And these things here, whatever they are, we'll pop them there. Right, so I want a Q5. 4, 6, 5. There you go. The killer coming back from Telford was like for most people the fact that the following day on the we drove back on the Monday, by the way, so on the Tuesday I was back to my day job. That was the killer. Not exciting at all. Right, so that is Q5 and Q5 goes, let's see what's going on. Should be a little flat bit or something. Right, okay. So there's a flat bit up at that end. So it's not that one. So right, so Q5 must be for the other side. So I'm wanting whatever's in brackets, basically. So whatever's in brackets goes on this side. Is how they're doing it. And then when you do the duplicate one, it'll be the other way around. And I'll show you how I can tell in a minute. Once I've nipped all these off. So, on this, and if you see, you've got like a piece here, a flat piece, and then it steps down and goes right the way along to the end. And when you look on here, I can get a thing, you've got a little reach there that's thicker, and then it's clear all the way along. So that's how I'm working out which piece is what. So that one definitely needs to go on there. So that definitely makes this one. That's the bottom one. So that definitely makes that the correct one for that side. So that's how you kind of test it and work it out. So in that theory, yeah, it's definitely 100% the correct one for this side of the thing. So when you do that page that I done the other week to build this part, it's the one with the question marks, with the brackets, is the parts that we need for this section. And I'm going to pop that on there and hold it for a minute, because it's a big old part, eh? Yeah, I know what you mean. Plus it pissed it down all the way home. Not a great journey. Straight back to work, 6 AM on Tuesday. Yeah, I was straight back to work Tuesday too. It rained exactly when we got to the Welcome to Scotland sign, and literally stopped the minute we got past the sign, which was kind of bizarre and weird and freaky, and just a kind of a like, what on earth's going on there kind of attitude. So there is a handrail to go on here. Hi Annette, how you doing? How many pots of tea have you gone through so far? I'm still on the first bottle. I've done very well with it. When Neil, my pal Neil Rafferty, built this, he said to me when he realised I was building it, which he might be watching, he said to me, "What glue are you using?" Which kind of made me a bit concerned. And I said to him that I was using the Tamiya Extra Thin. And he went, "Really?" All kind of shocked, which kind of made me even more nervous before I started building it, because I couldn't understand why he seemed shocked that I was using Tamiya Extra Thin. I think he thinks it wasn't going to hold, but it seems to be holding all right. So, entering Haggis country, yes. So my friend at Frome, whatever you want to call it, Model Centre, says to me, "I'm surprised, Fred, they let you back in on Facebook when I showed you the Welcome to Scotland sign." So I says to him, what I did was I hung out the window an empty bottle of whiskey and they just waved me in. So that's what I said. Right, number 4, because I want the ones in brackets, not the other ones, is these ones. Now this one goes even higher up than the last one. So I'm going to put that with that piece and put that over there, because I don't want to lose that bit. I'm good, thanks. Single malt, any. I was only kind of joking, to be fair. So, but I did kind of drink a lot of vodka while I was at Telford. And we went for a lovely walk as well, which is a whole nother story again. Probably not a too clever one, to be honest. But at the time it felt right and clever. So, this is another walkway piece. Now, I've got this piece on here, which seems to be holding on there. What we just put on, this one. So there's another one that goes along here. And then there's loads of handrails to go on. I'm just going to leave that leaned up against the side there. And we're just going to pop that one on as well. Now, that one seems to hold itself better than the last one, so that's actually quite good. Oh yes, most definitely had fun. Always have fun at the show. Catching up with everybody, meeting everybody, seeing everyone. You only see them once a year. So yes, absolutely spot on. Great fun. Just can't beat it. It's the one show every year that you can meet up with everybody that you know, and you know you're going to meet them there pretty much, and just have a good time. And if it wasn't for my pal Ali and his boy, it would never happen. So, such an awesome friend that makes it worthwhile and makes it happen, and great company. Yeah. So, we're doing well here. So that's kind of, you can see that there. There's two big old walkways on there now. And that's it there, and then you've got two big bits. Yeah. And once that's dried a little bit, we'll start putting some railings on and whatnot. All good fun. Now I've got some delightful framework to figure out with mad, weird brackets to go on it. Not quite sure where the brackets go exactly. Oh right, okay. Let me see if I can see a better picture there. Oh wait, okay. So it's a bit like a cage. A bit like a cage on the two. It's a bit odd. Right, Q7 anyway. We'll go with that first. It's this one here. It's like a big cage. You can see that. And it just sort of points. I love the way this kit just points. Doesn't actually show you anything. Just goes there, over there. So we're looking for a cagey bit. Big old cage bit. Doesn't look like any of them bits there. Doesn't look like any of them bits there. Not them bits there. Oh, that looks like it. There we go. Looks a bit delicate, this one. No worries, Steve. You take care, pal. And cheers for popping by. I'll catch you soon, pal. So there it is. Oh, cages. So I want Q7 because I'm working with a bracket one. That's the top one there. It's cutting this off without snapping it. And then bending it and whatever to get it into position, which is going to be fun. Well, a big old gap there. So, this delightful piece apparently somehow goes on here. Now, it's not very clear. I believe it's that way round. And that, I believe, goes on there. A bit like that. Now, the question is, does it go to the left or to the right? That looks about right there. So, I need to, this is going to be fun. Not. Right, okay, so what I think I'm going to need to do here, put some wheat clamps on there. Hold it into position till I glue it. So I'm going to find my little clamps. There they are. Not really these ones, these are too tight I think. Oh no, we'll use these. So I've got these little clamps here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to clamp sort of every other one to that top rail. Every so often. I'll pop a little clamp on it. Just not all the way along, but just every so often to keep it in position for when I glue, because it's kind of crazy the way it is, because it's so long and thin and bendy, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to clamp that like that, and then these ones all going to need clamping on there as well. So I'll pop some clamps on so I get in the exact position that we need. Very technical here. Otherwise you're going to end up with a big old gap. We don't want that. Even there, really, that needs 2 clamps on that one. And then there. And then that side. Right, so I am going to basically glue. You can get it at an angle a bit better so you can see what I've done there. You can see that I had to clamp to bring it together, the walkway and the bars, and pull it all into line. So what I'm going to do, while I've got it like that, is just in between the clamps, but nowhere near the clamps, because we don't want the clamps melting into the plastic. So I'm avoiding the ones with the clamps on, but every other one apart from that, I'm just going to glue now. So I'm nowhere near the actual clamp pieces. And once that's half dry and I'm happy, I will release the clamps and then glue the clamp sections. That makes sense. If you try and glue with the clamps on, around the clamps, you've got a risk of softening the plastic. and then of course melting the horrible shape into the plastic itself on the clamp and then ruining the model. And we don't want to do that. I think this is the safest way to get the shape that we're after in the position that we're after. And we'll give that a moment and let it do its thing. Hopefully it will bond and do what I want it to do and stay into position. You want it to melt as one, don't it, really, because it should look like that, really. You're not wanting gaps anywhere. Now, quite happy with that, so I'm going to release one clamp at a time now. Kind of nervously releasing in clamps because obviously you're not wanting to ping apart when you're trying to do it. Awesome. Actually worked out well that way. Better to be safe than sorry. Otherwise you're trying to squeeze it together when you're gluing and then it just becomes a pain, eh? You know. This way it's keeping it all right. And then you can keep squeezing it. Wee up. Okay, the lid's on the glue there. But we're good there like that. I'm happy with that. And we'll go for the bottom row. The bottom row is a bit more. Needed a little squeeze by the looks of it. Once it's dried a little, wait for the glue to soften. Clamp up that little gap there, and that's what the clamp was doing, holding that. See? And that one. Happy days. Cool. So for the sake of a handful of clamps there, I've pulled everything to where it should be and pulled it together so it's like the steel plate sitting on what it's supposed to be sitting on, if you know what I mean. I shall show you that, because it would be quite easy to end up with a little gap otherwise. So there we have now the railing bits, and you can see all the way along, so here all the way down in one piece, and that's it, and like that. So you see how it all holds it all together. So on this bit here it tucks underneath, so you want it to be a seamless piece really, and on this one, so that's why when you tuck it under I put the little clamps on it just to hold it, so it made it seamless with no little gaps, so it looks like it's welded together like it should be in real life. So yeah, we've got a bit of a weird cage going on now. Now apparently there's another bit that goes up and around sort of stuff, so we're going to have to look into that. But it has some weird little brackets going on now, which kind of gets a bit more confusing. So we have this little shenanigans here with like weird little triangular bits, and that goes on this little piece here right there, and this little sticky out bit there, so it's like a little fence rail, but it's got some weird bits on it for some reason. And also, according to this, I have one weird triangle thing here that I have to assemble and put through them railings and onto there, apparently, somehow, for some reason. No idea why and what it's supposed to do, but it goes up this end somewhere. It's some weird triangular thing. Let's have a look on here and see what it's actually for. And of course, it's not even on this image. I have no idea what it's even for. But we shall get this piece first. Oh dear, what's the time? 37. Yeah, we're doing all right. Good. Right, we want an S through, which I'd imagine is this one. No, it's a P. Typical, isn't it? Maybe this one. There's only so many of the cages on. That's an R. Will be an R, won't it? And there should be an S around somewhere. Sprue with an S on it. An N. There we go again. The joys and fun of looking for spruce. R. That's definitely not it. That's definitely not it. There's that. There's that. There's that. Not that. Not any of that. None of that. So, yes. There we go. Sprue S. The size of that. S14. S14. Okay. So we have some sticky outy bits. Some proper chunky bits. I so hate this, by the way. in thin bits like this. I hate that. Such a chunky sprue gate because it's such a chunky part, you know, on the rest of the sprue. But it's such a delicate piece. I'm always paranoid in case it snaps. Evening, Stuart. How you doing, pal? Yeah, so because it's such big chunky parts on that sprue, it's got a huge sprue gate on this. Really, the sprue gate's bigger than the actual fit piece. So when you're cutting it, it's kind of nerve-wracking in case you something happens and it snaps. I mean, why you would put a little thin piece like that onto big chunky pieces like that with a huge sprue gate holding it is just bizarre, really. But then the whole kit's bizarre, the sheer size of it. So right, so I do have some silly little triangles to assemble, supposedly. Apparently it goes that way, like this, and I believe it goes into that somehow at some point on that. So it's got to be that way, and I need to find C19, and we should get this bit done at least. So we'll look back here. I'm getting sick of looking around and try and find roughly what I want. So C19 is a weird sprue here. I kind of know which one that is. So I believe it's this one, actually, right next to me, which is quite helpful. And we should have some little triangles on here. 16, 24, 13, 11, 28, 10, 29, 17. Oh, right at the back there. Two little triangles at the back here. These little blighters there. By the looks of it, they're all the same. One tiny part, two tiny parts. I do not see the point of this bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kit never seems to amaze me. Such a giant kit. And I'm playing around with these. Look at that. Just what the doctor ordered, huh? Not. Okie dokie. So, these are going to be pingers. Yes. 100% agree there, Stuart. Absolute bonkers for such a tiny kit. Completely agree with you there. Now I've got a little snibby bit just there. It goes onto a little snibby bit just there, apparently. And it's not going on there because my tweezers are in the way. Oh, here we go. Right. Okay. Right. Can't even see what I'm doing here, eh? Really. I mean, it's just gone straight under my fingernail there. Oh, come on. Right. Apparently that goes on there. Oh, there you go. He's away. Haha. Did he? Carpet Monster 0. Freddy Boy 1. Nearly not though. Right. Apparently that goes like that on there. And that's really not just gonna, it's just not gonna happen, eh? So what I'm gonna do is put a drop of glue on there that softens that bit of plastic. And then when I pick that up, I've got half a chance of it actually staying on the plastic while I'm trying to position it. Nope. Come on. Come on now. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. Oh, I believe that's it. There you go. One piece. One triangle. I think that's right. And one on that side. Kind of annoying this, eh? Really. So that's the flat side. It's got to go like that. Oh my gosh. Am I enjoying this bit? No, not really. It's small and fiddly. Absolutely. But that's it on, I believe. Hard to tell if it's on right or not. I'm honest. It feels like it is. One side and then the other side. So I've got one more set to do. Really not very clear, to be honest. It's not clear what way up it goes, and it's not really very clear if it's even right when you put it on, but it must be. I don't quite get what it's for. but it's for something. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. Oh, come on, you. It tests your patience for sure, eh? Oh, come on, to hell. I should maybe get one of them little picker-upper thingy-jigs. Have you ever seen them? Like a rubber tip thingy-jig that picks up small parts, apparently. Maybe get one of them. Always wondered how well they work. Or if they work at all. Right. I believe that's got it. At last. Yes. There you go. Silly little triangle on there. Got 3 rivets on each triangle. So. Right. And then that little thing. Goes on there. Just trying to figure out how that goes. Yeah, I've seen him pick up things, never used one. Yeah, that's what I was wondering actually, to be honest. I've never really seen what they're like. Right, so this is like that. It's not very clear how it goes and why it goes that way, to be honest. Right. It's just an image of it goes here, you know, that kind of way. So, right, okay. Definitely on the outer edge. There's definitely a little side sticking out. So it definitely goes that way round. Outer side sticking out and it goes on that edge there. I think that them little crosses and stuff, crisscrosses, actually are supposed to support this. I'm pretty sure that's a bit of ping off and end up in a wormhole to another dimension. Yes, I believe so. I can see some bits here sticking out. This is going to be a bit fiddly for a minute. Yeah, bear with me a sec. Because I believe I figured out how this goes, but I can't see properly my eyesight to exactly how it goes. I believe that goes on there like that. And then the other side like that. Oh, I'll put a little dot of glue on there and hope for the best for a minute. And then have a look that side in a second. I believe that goes there like that. It's a bit of a two-handed job here. What does worry me is I did see somebody building this and they had a friend helping them when they were putting it together with the barrel. And obviously I'm on my own here. So that might be an interesting scenario when the time comes. Right. I believe I may have got that on correctly. It certainly looks like I have. it's rather fiddly and rather dangly, you know what I'm saying? But this little walkway here that's just floating has a little handrail on it, just there, if you can see it. And it's just sort of floating at the moment. Oh, there you go, and it's tipped over. And you've got to let the glue dry properly before you start manoeuvring it for people on YouTube. Otherwise, it will just fall over. So I'm going to leave it kind of like that for a minute and let it do its thing, in the hope that I've got it correctly in position. And leave it like that to dry, because it's just there. But I don't want to move it too much. There it is. Yep, on the end there. At the moment it's staying upright. Once that glue dries, that should stay alright anyway. You know yourself, to me a glue doesn't last long anyway before it dries, so happy days. That's that awkward little tiny piece on there that will probably get knocked off about 10 times during the build, but it is what it is. So we've got lots of beautiful more little triangles here to assemble onto these lovely little thin pieces here at some point next week, as you can see. And then that apparently just goes right on there. Boom, boom, boom. No problem, just drops on there like that, apparently. So it says. Yes, so it'll be interesting to say the least. It's like a downward handrail that comes across here and then down by these steps to stop anyone from falling, obviously. So it's down, it'll come across here and then down at an angle, apparently, to keep the people safe, according to this anyway. So that's where we're at. We're at 58 minutes past, and that is going to be the end of it for me today. So we've done not bad really, to be fair. We've got some of the walkways on, we've clamped it together, we've put the railings across, and we've got that silly little railing at the corner there with its little tiny rivets and everything else. These clamps, awesome. Get them from the station shop, just don't allow glue next to them because they're so tight that it would just with the plastic, and you don't want that. So there we have it. That'll be pretty much dry now. So we've got our railings on there, super awesome. And railings all across there and along the bottom, and the walkways and everything else. I've got to figure out where that silly little other triangle goes, but we'll figure that out after. And we've got a couple of bits there that just need pushing a little bit more once it gets a bit more glue in there. Give it a little shove. But yeah, happy days. At 7 o'clock I am going to go home and get something to eat before I go back to work tomorrow. Cheers, Annette. All good fun. Yeah, so as Paul said there at the car scale shed, we do have our Zoom chat on a Friday night with a few drinks and people at the bench. So if you want to join in, just send us a message. Yeah, there was nothing exciting really to tell you about Telford apart from, you know, just your normal. The Meteor's coming out, Rebel 132nd. That looks an awesome kit. Lovely book and all that, carry on. We've got some of them coming in when they come. The 109, yeah, fixed one's cool. There is going to be a Moggy Eurofighter Typhoon next year coming out. It is the old boxing, same as the Red Baron and the Blackjacks. So you've still got the seam line going along the canopy. We sell micromesh and the aquagloss. By the time you sand it down with a micromesh, use the aquagloss, the seam goes. But the Rebel kit will be the old boxing, so it's not the greatest of kits. There is next year going to be a Rebel 1/32 red arrows with a new tail fin, 50th anniversary. Again, it's the old kit from the old tail fin when it was like just the single bars. So there is the nose cone problem, trying to get that to marry up, because you can't just fill it, because then the canopy doesn't fit. I've built that kit too, it's hanging up in the shop. But I did it with a new tail fin by masking. But it is a rebox next year, so don't be thinking it's a new kit, because it's not. What else exciting was that? Not a lot really else kit wise, I don't think. Obviously you got a few of the regulars, you know, a few other Airfix and Rebel kits coming out. Yeah, all good fun. Anyway, that's about it. I shall see you all next week. I'm actually here now every weekend until April. Scottish Nationals next year in April is the next show for me, so I will be about each weekend. There's no reason not to be. I'm not going anywhere until April, so I should be here every week, and we'll crack on with the kit. Your 60th at Telford next year, yeah, all good fun. Yeah, the Typhoon's nice, Joe, but I'd say it's got a seam line right down the centre of the canopy, pal. And I said to the guy, I says, listen, is that a Reeboks or is that going to be a new tool? And he looked at me and I went, because there used to be a seam line on the canopy, and he went, yeah. Goes, there's still the seam line. I went, right, so it's a Reeboks in. So yeah, anyone who's done the Red Baron or anything like that, the old 148 Rebel Eurofighter Typhoon, then it's going to be the same kit punched out again with Moggy decals. They're only about a year late, because it was last year the demo colours. This year was completely grey, so they're quite far behind as well. Yes, Colters do have a few releases. The Halifax is not going to be available to anybody via a shop or wholesaler. We got informed that after we wanted to put in an order for a load. It turns out it's exclusive to Colter only, and that's it. So the only way you're going to get that Halifax in 3 years' time is to pay up front and be part of the pre-order direct with them. You will not get it through a shop or anything unless you're paying over retail price. The only way for me to get them or any wholesaler to get them is to pay retail price and then add money on top of that, which is not good. So yeah, unfortunately the Halifax will not be happening. It's basically crowdfunding. That's what they're doing. It's like a Kickstarter. They're taking the money up front to pay for the project. So there is no wholesale price, I'm afraid, on that. It's not happening. I went through it with them. So yeah, P47 Hurricane, yeah. Anyway, so no worries, guys. Anyway, listen, everyone take care. And I'll see you all next week. You know where I am if you need me. And stay safe, and I'll carry on with this malarkey and carry on next week. So see you all for now, and thanks for the likes and the subscriptions and everything else. Decals can't cover a seam line, not on a canopy, pal. It needs to be sanded out, buffed out, and then dipped in aquagloss to get rid of that. It's the only way. You'll see it in the shop, Joe, and you'll understand what I'm on about. Take care, guys. See you soon, and that's it, really. Bye for now. I'm hungry.